As we speak to you from Three Notch Brewery in Town Center in Virginia Beach as we celebrate the 50th induction weekend for the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame. You know him from his days in the 757 at Kellam High School. Of course, went on to the University of Virginia and won a World Series championship with the Washington Nationals. Was an all-star there, had his number 11 jersey retired. He's known as Mr. National. Ryan Zimmerman. Ryan, good to see you. How you been?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. It's fun to get back here.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And I'm curious, here in your post-playing career, what's life been for Ryan Zimmerman since he hung him up?
Oh, man, it's busier than we have 4 kids, 9 and 6 girls, and then almost 3 and a little bit over 1 boys. So my life got busier when I retired. But it's good to be around, and I still live up in Northern Virginia, so I'm going to continually do stuff with the Nationals so I can kind of get my baseball fix without having to be gone, 6 months out of the year and not see my family at all. So I sort of get the best of both worlds and can pop back down here and see my parents, and so it's a good gig. I'm enjoying it, but it's been a transition for sure. So
whether you're at the ballpark or at home, you get your share of Baby Shark, huh?
Oh, I'm getting lots of kids, it's way harder than baseball, I'll tell you that much.
Growing up, who were the influences and people you looked up to, be it in or around the sport of baseball?
I mean, when I was growing up, my big league guys were Chipper and Cal Ripken Jr. I mean, the Braves were always on TV. They were really good, and Chipper was like the guy when I was growing up. Everyone around here loved Cal Ripken Jr. and just, what he stood for and what he represented. So I kind of gravitated to those guys professionally. And then, around here when I was in high school, I mean, you had guys like Cuddy and those David Wright was a little bit older than me, but, those were the guys that I was lucky enough to grow up with and watch the older guys play and then compete against a lot of those guys. And that's what makes this area so special. I think it still does very well, but that 10-year span was a joke. And we were the beneficiaries of it because we got to compete against each other. The coaching then and now in this area is so elite that we got the best of all of that. And I'm a big believer, and that's why a lot of us did so well. We had great coaching, and then we played against each other so much. And when you play against guys like that, you become better. It's the only thing that can happen.
Yeah, it's a special era with the Uptons and David Wright and Michael Kadire, yourself in that. I'm sure you knew and had a self-confidence. All right, I can play. I'm one of the best, and that competition brings out the best in you. Was there ever a turning point moment or one that sticks out looking back at your career where you said, all right, I know I can do this at a high level, at the major league level? Was it in high school at Kellam, college, UVA, or beyond that even?
I mean, the truth is probably after my sophomore year in college when I played for Team USA. I wasn't highly recruited out of high school. I shouldn't say I wasn't highly recruited, but, I was ODU, JMU, UNC Wilmington, UNC Charlotte, great school.
You were the top 50, top 100 guy.
And then, I went down to a tournament in Florida, and UVA saw me there, and that's where they kind of came in real late and said, hey, if you want to come here. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's where I'm going. And obviously it worked out. But, I mean, my Kellam team, my senior year, we had 7 guys get D1 scholarships. And I think 3 or 4 guys get drafted. And I was not one of them.
Did that motivate you any extra? Or
what?
Did that motivate you any extra?
Not really. I mean, I just love playing the game. And I think I never really thought about, hey, am I going to play professional? Am I going to do that? I was like, this is pretty cool. I like playing. Sweet, I'm on varsity. If you keep going, then maybe I'll go to college and play. Well, I went to college and played, and it just kept going on. But it was just, I enjoyed the heck out of it.
So you weren't wired as the guy that had the disrespect chip on his shoulder. You just went out there and played the game and did your thing, basically.
Yeah, and I think going back to this area, I mean, we were taught to play the game the right way. Always play hard. Respect for yourself, for the game. And I think that's more what I worried about is just playing hard and doing that. And everything else sort of took care of itself.
Getting to play your entire 16-year career with one franchise, pretty rare these days in sports and special. I mean, you hear people say Campana career where he retires as the franchise leader in hits, home runs, RBI, games played. But to be with one franchise and have it finish up the way it did, I mean, what's that all mean to you looking back?
Yeah, really lucky. I think, it doesn't happen in this day and age. I don't think because guys don't want it to happen or teams don't want it to happen. It's with the way that the economic landscape is in professional sports, it's just damn near impossible for it to happen. Not because a lot of the times the players will want to stay or the team will want, but so many things have to work out correctly. I mean, you'll see some of it happen, but it's just so rare now, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just how it happens. But, you know, for me to grow up down here, go to UVA, randomly get drafted by a team that just moved down from Montreal, it just kind of everything worked out almost too good to be true. And, you know, I've said it before, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change the good things. I wouldn't change the injuries or the bad things either. I think it's all a part of the story, and I'm really lucky to have been able to do what I did.
Well, we'll get to that great 2019 World Series championship in a moment. We're talking with Ryan Zimmerman, the Virginia Beach hometown kid out of Kellam High School, UVA, here with us. Ryan, there were some ups and downs, but certainly a lot more ups than downs. Did you ever think at any point in your Nats career that you might not be there, you might go somewhere else?
So there was really, I mean, I signed a long-term deal pretty early in, and then I say lucky for me, but with 2 years left on that deal, we signed an even longer deal. So it was never to the point where I ever really had to even entertain it. And it worked out, I think, good for everybody. I mean, obviously, it worked out great for us as in a long-term relationship. But like you said, there were some seasons when I was hurt and things didn't go well. And, you know, the teams always get the raw end of the deal on those years. But then there's years where you go crazy. So I think that's sort of the thing. Like it's a long-term relationship in many ways. That's very similar to a lot of other long-term relationships you're in. There's some good times and some bad times, but you know, I think the closest I ever thought about something like that was that first year of arbitration when we almost went into arbitration. We couldn't agree on a number, so that's after year 3 going into year 4. And if that would have happened, like, who knows what the relationship would have done from there. But then I signed the 5-year deal right after that. And, you know, the story is kind of the rest of the story from there. But I was lucky. There was never really a time where it was confrontational.
You've got that moniker of Mr. National, and I think that personifies that you were class on the field and off it. When big leaguers hit you up for advice, whether it be college kids, high school kids here from the 757, what do you tell them about navigating all the highs and lows and the roller coaster that it is trying to be a major league player and be one successfully like you did it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's why baseball, I'm biased, but that's why baseball is the hardest sport. I mean, you do it every day. I mean, we're twice as long as any other sport, and it's probably the mentally, well, I shouldn't say the toughest mental sport out there because I'm sure the other guys deal with stuff too, but, I mean, you fail a lot, absurd amounts of failure. I mean, you can fail 7 times out of 10 and be one of the best to ever do it. So you have to learn how to embrace that, deal with it, you know, celebrate the good times, but not get too high in the good times. And then, you know, when you are going bad, to not get too low and just trust the process that'll even out. But, you know, talking to other kids, and I think, you know, the grass isn't always greener on the other side as well. I think everyone has these you know, the images and the view of what they think everything's going to be like. Sometimes it's better where you're at. And I think, you know, I always thought that. I enjoyed being comfortable. I enjoyed knowing the parking guy when I came up to the, you know, that to me that means something. And maybe to some other people it doesn't, but, you know, that was kind of my advice to a lot of the young guys that were about to go through free agency and things like that.
It's almost the moral being, don't get caught chasing something that might not be there. Just enjoy the moment and the ride.
Yeah, and I think, you know, a lot of that depends on who you have around you, too. My agents and the people that I had with me were really good people. I think some people get some bad advice, but, you know, I was, like I said, my situation is, you know, not normal, and I was lucky to be in the situation I was.
In your idle time, how often do you think back to that 2019 World Series and the magnitude, the way it played out, just so remarkably, where every game was won by the road team?
Yeah. We said, it's funny, I've talked obviously about this a lot. So many people have told me they think it was karma for the Houston Astros to lose all 4 home games, you know, because they were supposedly cheating. They supposedly were not cheating during that World Series, which who knows. But, you know, but also with the way that year went, starting 19-31, it just kind of made sense that something stupid like that would happen. But so we kind of embraced it, and we go in there and win 2 against Verlander and Cole, and then come home and get our butts kicked for 3 games, and then have to go back and win 2 in their city. And we were like, it kind of makes sense. This is what it's supposed to be, and just went and did it.
It was a team for the ages. I think stinky part was you guys didn't really get to get the full-blown celebration because of COVID the next year.
Yeah, we did get our parade, which was great.
Yeah.
Really kind of the last true parade, if you really ask me. But then, not being able to, kind of play the season as the champs was disappointing. Obviously, things were beyond our control, and there was a lot of crazy stuff going on that year. But, I think we were looking forward to going in other cities and getting everyone's best shot and being the champs for that year, and we never really got to do that. But, that's just one small thing that we didn't get to do. I'll take the rest of the good things.
I'll get you on this. I'm sure we'll get you back on the program and talk about other things such as the pitch clock, the curtain nats. But what's this honor mean to you, go to the Hall of Fame for your state?
Yeah, it's humbling. And, you look at the list of other people that have been on here, and it's so cool to go into things that are not just baseball. Anything, from athletes to sports, right? There's everyone in this thing. And, growing up here in this area obviously means a lot to me. And, all of us baseball guys have talked endlessly, about the coaches here, the community here, how much support we had, how much pride we took in representing this area with class and dignity. And so being able to be a part of that group now and honestly just represent this state and this area, it's an honor for me. It's humbling, and it's exciting to be a part of it. And I know some of the guys in this class and some pretty good athletes that came out of here. So just to be a part of that group is pretty special.
Well, it's an honor to chat with you, and thank you so much for stopping by. Congrats again, Ryan Zimmerman, Mr. National, an All-Star for him here in the 757 at Kellam High, and then at UVA before becoming an All-Star and a World Series champ with the Washington Nationals. Enjoy it. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, guys.